So they have exams now. Maybe after the exam, their exam will get over on 31st. After that, I would be happy if both A and B section can have a same 15 minutes or 20 minutes slot. In that, he'll explain what was his project, on what was his requirement, and how did he design that antenna and all those stuff. I think that would be a good experience rather than me speaking theory from this end. Right. So if he has done something, in practice he has designed and he had sent it for fabrication. So because of this lockdown, I think it has not happened yet. But anyhow, he'll be able to give you some idea. Right. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we are into module 2, right? And we were discussing about a very, very important topic, that is scattering network parameters, S parameters. It is actually what a universal parameter. Why? Because it can be applied for both distributed and lumped network, right? So it's called a universal parameter, and the variables in this, right? Variables in the sense voltage, and in Z, H, Y, A, B, C, D parameters, voltage and currents are variable. If you are representing voltage in terms of actually what current, then current will be independent variable, voltage will be dependent variable. So in that case, right, in S matrix representation, I'll just, right. So we will be representing B in terms of A, right? So if it is actually what a single port network, B will be S into A. If it is 2 port, there will be B1, B2. S will be a 2 cross 2 matrix, right? A will be A1, A2, right? So here independent variable is A and dependent variable is B, right? So A and B, how it is defined in terms of voltage and current, that's what we were seeing yesterday. So this A is the independent variable, right? A is the independent variable. That is nothing but what? V plus e power minus V incident normalized by root of Z0. Right. So now I'll give you some technical terms. So this is parameter A. It is nothing but what? Normalized incident voltage. V incident normalized by root of Z0, and its unit is actually what? Volt per root of ohm, or volt ohm to the power minus half. Right. So it is incident voltage normalized by root of Z0, where Z0 is actually what? The characteristic impedance. If you ask me, if it is not a microwave network, if it is an RLC network, a lumped network, right, what will be the Z0? So the Z0, that is actually what it will be, a reference resistance. So there, depending upon the application, the choice of Z0 will vary there if it is a lumped network. But if our interest is actually what? Microwave network, so there Z0 is nothing but what? Characteristic impedance. So I'll repeat, it's actually what? Very, very important aspect. So A is nothing but what? Incident voltage normalized by square root of Z0. So that is equal to what? In terms of V and I, we can write it like this. That is given by this equation number 10. And similarly, B is actually what? Reflected voltage normalized by root of Z0, right? Normalized by square root of normalized impedance, and it is given in terms of V and I like this. So if you want to write S parameter description for a lumped network, normally we can measure V and I, right? For a lumped network, we can measure V and I. So given V and I, you can obtain A and B like this. So that is what we have done here. And similarly, from this expressions, what we did is we found the reverse also, right? From A and B, how to find V and A, right? So this equation number 10 plus 11, right? If you add 10 and 11 and multiply it with root of Z0, we will get V. Right, if you add these two and multiply it with root of Z0, we will get V in terms of A and B. So root of V is equal to A plus B times root of Z0. And I will be actually what? 10 minus 11 divided by root of Z0 will give you actually what? I. Right. And in your textbook, right, for convenience, what they have assumed is, for convenience, in most of the cases, they have assumed this root of Z0 to be equal to 1. They have assumed this, right, root of Z0 to be equal to 1. So it's just for simplicity. It's just for simplicity in your textbook. They have assumed root of Z0 to be equal to 1. And one more major difference is they have not given these derivations and all that actually what. And instead of this V incident and V reflected, or V plus e power minus gamma Z and V minus e power gamma Z, they have used the term, if it is actually what? Incident voltage of port 1, they have used the term V1 plus. right? If it is reflected voltage of port 1, it is V1 minus, like that they have used, right? So that maybe later on I'll be switching to that notations. Why? Because that is as per your prescribed textbook, right? Of course, first module for transmission line we used Samuel Liao textbook. It had these set of notations which I have written, but for this particular module 2, your textbook is actually what microwave engineering by Annapurna Das and Shishir K Das, right? So I don't have a soft copy, but I have scanned the relevant pages and I will make it available in Canvas. And I know you do, like you are already aware that you don't have any university exam. So whatever we are studying, it's purely for your intellectual excitement and third internal, right? So what I may do is the derivation part, lengthy derivation part, I may not stress much, right? And even okay, maybe while framing question paper, I can decide whether to ask or not, right? So derivation part, but there are some derivations or proofs, right, which you should know. You should know how to prove something. So as a scientific method, right, I'll teach you that, but I may not give much importance, or I won't spend much time on that. But rather than that, whatever is what the key takeaways, right, what I'm expecting should be the key takeaways, I'll be stressing on that. But these things are important, right? And as per your textbook or university syllabus, right, this won't be mentioned anywhere in your textbook, right? But if you refer any actually what standard NPTEL course, right, so it starts from these basics. So these basics, I think it's very, very important for you to appreciate this concept. So that is what we have done yesterday, right? And we can define, so what I told is A is incident voltage, normalized incident voltage, right? Incident voltage normalized by root of characteristic impedance, right? So similarly, in your textbook, what they have written is, in your textbook, they have they have not given these results, 10 and 11 they have not given. Instead of that, what we have is V is equal to V plus V minus, right? So this is incident voltage and this is reflected voltage. They have considered this, and A is nothing but what? A is nothing but V plus divided by root Z naught. A is nothing but V plus divided by root Z naught. So that will be equal to, what will be V plus from this? If I call it equation number A, what will be V plus? V plus, you have to take this V minus there, right? So it will be V, it is the actual voltage, divided minus V minus. This is actual voltage, right? Actual voltage, when I say, if suppose you have some instrument to measure the voltage at each and every point of the lumped network, distributed network, that actual voltage, it will be actually what? Sum of incident and reflected voltage, right? So A will be V minus V minus of V minus divided by root of Z naught. This is what they have written. This is also right. So, and when you normalize, it will become actually what? V minus of V reflected, right? And similarly, B is written as V minus divided by root of Z naught, where V minus is actually what? V reflected, that is equal to V minus of V plus divided by root of Z naught. So in your textbook, right, for incident voltage, please do keep this in mind. For incident voltage, they have written as V plus, and for reflected voltage, they have used a notation V minus. And they have straight away started from this, right? They straight away started, they have defined A like this. A is V plus by root of Z naught, V minus by root of Z naught, right? So it's what is given in your textbook. And then we have given power, right? So power is equal to P incident minus P reflected, and they have given it as half times mode of A square minus mode of B square, right? This is what they have written. But like if you want to, right, accept it and appreciate, right, we should know how it came, right? Then only you will be able to remember. Otherwise, it will be like simply by hearting. So that's why I'll tell you the basics as well, right? That's why I'll tell you the basics as well. So it's up to us, right? So maybe I think these things are what you are supposed to know, right? So quickly I'll write what is V, right? V will be A plus B times root of Z naught, right? We derived it, right? And I will be A minus B. I will be A minus B divided by root of Z naught. This we have. right? A minus B divided by root of Z naught. So now we'll assume a one-port network. For instance, I'll assume a one-port network. One-port network, it can be actually what a transmission line connected to a load impedance or whatever, right? So a one-port network, it has got only one port, right? So that one port is this, right? So A is the incident quantity. So I can represent A like A is the incident quantity. It is nothing but what? Incident voltage normalized by root of Z naught. And B is the reflected quantity. Right? B is the reflected quantity, that is reflected voltage normalized by root of Z naught. So, and similarly incident power, right? If P in is the incident power, right? P reflected is the reflected power, and say P O is the power delivered to the load or network. PO, if it is the power delivered to the network, right? PO is the power delivered to the network. So that P, or else I'll call it as P, right? That P will be actually what? P incident minus P reflected. So a part of the power is incident, remaining will be reflected. So, and the remaining part will be actually what? Delivered to the load. So P will be P incident plus P minus P reflected. I can write it as equation number 1 for today, right? Or I can call it equation number A, equation number B, right? You may have some other equation numbers, you can use that, right? So what I'm telling is the total power, net power flowing from source to the load end, right? It will be the difference between incident power and reflected power. So remaining power has to be delivered to the network, right? I hope all of you are able to accept this. Now, right, suppose the corresponding voltage here is actually what? Voltage is V and current is I. These can be complex quantities, right? So at this point, the voltage is V and current is I, right? Suppose voltage is V and current is I, right? Then the power, right? The total power at that point will be actually what? P, the total power flow from left to right will be P incident minus P reflected. So total power, right? I can write P, it will be equal to half times real part of V times I conjugate, half times real part of V times I conjugate. This is voltage phasor and this is current phasor conjugate. So why this half? It's because this phasor, right, the magnitude is actually what? Peak, right? The magnitudes are peak magnitude, right? That is why I have added actually what? This half. So power is actually what? V RMS into I RMS. So if V and I are peak, so V RMS will be V by root 2, I RMS will be I by root 2. So that is why this half came here. So P is half times real part of V into I. So we know V is actually what? A plus B times root Z naught, and I is A minus B by root Z naught, right? A plus B times root Z naught and A minus B by root Z naught, right? So if you are writing exams like in engineering service and all those stuff, such questions you can expect, right? You can expect such questions. And if at all some descriptive tests are there, they used to ask such questions, right? Which is actually what? To prove this half of mod of A square is P incident, like that. Such questions they may ask, right? Maybe for your future. So I can write now P is equal to half times real part of, I can write V is actually what? A plus B. V is A plus B times root of Z naught. I can write into I conjugate. I conjugate will be, I is actually what? A minus B divided by root of Z naught, but I conjugate will be actually what? A conjugate minus B conjugate divided by root of Z naught. I am assuming Z naught is real, right? So conjugate of real will be actually what? Real itself. So the Z naught and root of Z naught and root of Z naught will get cancelled, right? So now what will be left out? So this is actually, we are interested in real part. So I'll write half time real part of A plus B times A conjugate minus B conjugate, right? Please listen carefully. So it is half real part of A plus B times A conjugate minus B conjugate. So this is A and B's are actually what? Complex quantities. A and B's are complex quantities. So when you multiply two complex quantities like this, so in this only real parts would be, I can tell this A into A conjugate will be one real part and B into B conjugate. They will be actually what? You know, A times A conjugate will be, I have told it many times. It will be mod of A square, right? And B times B conjugate will be actually what? Mod of B square, right? So then other terms, A B star or B star A or B A star, all those things will be imaginary, right? So only real part would be A conjugate and B conjugate. So I can write it straight away as power is equal to half times, right? Half times A conjugate minus B times B conjugate, right? Half times A conjugate minus B times B conjugate. So I can write, right? So I can write it as this is equal to half times mod of A the whole square minus half times mod of B the whole square. So I'll call it equation number say 2, right? So I had an equation number 1. It said power is equal to what? P incident minus P reflected. Power is equal to P incident minus P reflected, right? Equation number 1 said that, right? Now equation number 2 says it is equal to this. So if you compare equation number 1 and 2, left hand side is same. So right hand side, this has to be actually what? P incident, and this has to be actually what? P reflected. So that is why we have defined. So for this A to be power incident to be represented as half of mod of A square and power reflected to be represented as half of mod of B square. That is why we have defined A like that, right? So that is why A and B are defined like this. So P incident will be, I can write now, P incident is half times mod of A square and P reflected will be half times mod of B square, right? So this is what we can write. And if it is a one port network like this, if it is a one port network, normally, right, we are not interested in one port network, but right, hypothetically, let's consider there is a one port network, a network with only one port, right? A network with only one port. This is actually what the port 1. So A is incident quantity, B is actually what? Reflected quantity, right? Then the S matrix description of this network, what it does is it will describe, it will be only one parameter. B will be S into A. B will be S into A. That will be, B can be represented as actually what? S into A. As it is one port, there is only one S. There is, these are no matrices and all. So what will be S here in the second net? S is equal to B by A. B by A. That is actually what? That will be equal to V reflected by V incident, and that will be equal to actually what? Reflection coefficient. Right, for one port network, the S parameter, right, is actually what? Reflection coefficient. So normally we won't encounter any one port network, right? We will have two port network. For two port network, there will be S11, S12, S21, S22. So right. So this is for a one port network. So a one port passive network. Suppose it's actually what? A one port passive microwave network. Right, one port passive microwave network. Right, it can be what? A transmission line terminated at some load, right? An example, a typical example can be actually what? A transmission line, right, terminated at some load ZL. So what happens? Some power is incident. If it is perfectly matched, no reflection coefficient is 0, right? Why? Because if it is perfectly matched, B will be 0, so S also will be 0. That is, reflection coefficient will be 0. If it is not perfectly matched, depending upon the mismatch between Z0 and ZL, there will be a part reflection, right? So that is for a one port network. Now we'll study in detail about actually what? S parameter, S network of S parameter representation of two port microwave network. So we can assume a two port microwave network. For that, how we'll represent the S parameter? So I have a two port network. Now we are not interested in actually what for the time being, I am assuming actually what? It's a passive network. So this box which I have drawn, in that you may have actually what? Different connectors, attenuators, phase shifters, or whatever. It's a passive network. So it has two ports. It has two ports. Port 1, right? Normally, right, we'll toward the one towards the left is input port or port 1, and the one towards the right is actually what? Output port. As I told, unlike the lumped network definition of port, right, where we can define a port as a terminal, but here a port is actually what? A plane which is perpendicular to a section, right? a perpendicular plane section which is perpendicular to our transmission line or whatever distributed network we have, right? Or a constant z if I'm placing it along z axis, because here space variable is also important, right? Not only time dependence, we are worried about space also, right? So in this case we have A1. So this is port 1, and I simply drawn a dash line just to let you know that this is port 2, this is port 1, right? This is the ports, right? A is the incident variable, right? A1 is the incident variable at port 1. B1 is the reflected variable, right? So now I can call actually what normalized voltage I can call, right? Normalized, when I say normalized voltage, it is actually what V by root of Z0. Voltage normalized with square root of characteristic impedance, and the unit of A and B will be actually what? Volt per square root of ohm, or volt ohm to the power minus half, right? So I may use normalized voltage, right? Or maybe incident variable or reflected variable, whatever it is, right? So then A1 is incident variable, B1 is reflected at port 1, and similarly at port 2, A2 is the incident and B2 is reflected. Please, that's in all the ports, it's actually what? Incident and reflected. Right. In A will be actually what? Entering, and B always will be leaving the port. Right. That's what you have to keep in mind. Sorry. So now, by how I can describe this network using S parameter, that is what I'm going to tell you now. So I can write B1 and B2, right? The vector B1, B2, it will be equal to S11, S12, S21, S22. So it's for a two-port network. A1, A2. This is the S parameter description of this. So if I know these S parameters, right? So given the independent variable, I can find out the dependent variable, right? So we have to see how to analyze, how to find out these S parameters. So maybe in Z, Y, H or ABCD, you had to either actually what short circuit or open circuit. I told here we can't use that technique here. One reason being actually what we don't have a measuring device as such which can measure the instantaneous voltage or current at any given port in a microwave network. What we can measure is actually what we have this VSWR meter and all those stuff. Using that, we can measure the power at any given port, right? So it should be in terms of actually what this A1 and B1, A and B's are actually what, even though we call it normalized voltage, it is more actually what related to power. Why? Because if I square that and divide by 2, it will give me power, right? That's why it is actually what volt per ohm to the power minus half. If you it will be of the dimension actually V square by R dimension when you square that, right? Okay, so we'll see what are these S11, S12 for a two-port network. What are these S11, S12, all those things we'll see. So I can expand it. B1 is equal to actually what? S11 A1 plus S12 A2, and B2 is equal to S21 A1 plus S22 A2. So just see this physically. What does this mean? Is you have some microwave network, and it is a two-port network, like two-port network. So here, so I'm assuming it is input port. Left-hand side, what is input port, and this is the output port, right? So whether we desire or not, right? So the input port, it has to be a transmission line. Right? That transmission line will have some characteristic impedance. Say the characteristic impedance of the transmission line is Z0, right? If the characteristic impedance is Z0, if the impedance seen by this transmission line, right, towards the right, if it is not Z0, what will happen? There of course will be some reflection. It's not matched. If the load is not matched, a part of the power will be delivered to the load and remaining will be reflected back. So if A1 is given, B1 will be there. Even though our intention is to actually make whatever power applied at the input available at the output, of course there will be some reflection. So B1 will be the reflection, right? And similarly, right, if B2 will be the output at port 2, right? And of course there will be some other actually loads, right? Or maybe free space, or if it is open, right? Then what may happen is there will be a reflection here as well. Or else if you are giving A2 as input to port 2, B2 will be reflected. So if you give A1 and A2, so now I'm assuming actually what in both ports we are giving inputs. That's what is my assumption. If you are giving, why? Because A1 and A2 are my independent variables. So I am exciting both the ports. Port 1 with actually what A1 and port 2 with A2. Then B1 and B2 is what will be coming out of port 1 and port 2 respectively. That is the meaning of this, right? So now we will try to define what is this S11, S12, right? So from this equation, so I'll call it equation number 1 and this is equation number 2, right? So you are already familiar with this. From this equation, what will be S11? Number 1, S11 will be, right? S11 will be, what I should do is, it will be B1 by A1 when A2 is equal to 0, right? B1 by A1 when A2 is equal to 0, which means it is a ratio of B1 by A1 when port 2. A2 is actually what is A2? You can see it's actually what, port 2, right? It will see there will be some load here at port 2, right? Suppose there is some load here, ZL at port 2, right? If this ZL is not equal to Z0 of this transmission line, what will happen? There will be reflection. That reflection is that what, A2. So if I have to make A2 0, it's not actually what, I don't have to short circuit or open circuit. What I should do is I should match the termination, right? There should be a match termination. So that's why when port 2 is matched, right? When port 2 is actually what, matched, it's port 2 sees a matched termination. That is ZL should be equal to Z0 as seen by port 2, right? So here it's easy, right? If most of the actually what transmission lines, right, which is for commercial use, they'll come actually what with the characteristic impedance of 50 ohm or 73 ohm, so like that, right? So we can have actually what a load which is equal to 50 ohm, right? If you connect that, what will happen? There won't be any reflection. So instead of actually what making a perfect short circuit or open circuit, you just connect that particular load. So if you are coming down to lab and doing these microwave and antenna related experiments, you will see that that different loads, how to connect that, right? This coaxial connectors and all those. Or else I'll maybe tomorrow in next class I'll go and bring some of the passive devices, microwave passive devices from lab, and I'll show you. Maybe I can switch on the video and I can show you that. Right. Okay, so this is S11. So S11 is B1 by A1. So what will be this? What will be this B1 by A1? It is actually what, incident reflected voltage at port 1 divided by incident voltage at port 1, right? It is B1 is actually what, reflected voltage at port 1, and A1 is actually what, incident voltage at port 1. Can anyone tell me what will be this ratio of reflected parameter to incident parameter? Even though we are normalizing it, right? Even though we are normalizing incident and reflected voltage, so by root of Z0, that will get cancelled. So what will be this? Can anyone tell me what is that? This will be reflection coefficient, right? Reflection coefficient of port 1, right? It will be the reflection coefficient of port 1. So what you have to keep in mind is, right, when we were discussing the theory of transmission line, we were telling reflection coefficient, VSWR, right, attenuation and all. But if you are referring a data sheet, right, of some or a description of any microwave device, you will find S11, S12, S21. So with that, you will have to find what is the attenuation, what will be the reflection coefficient, right? And all those stuffs you will have, and different losses, insertion loss, right? Then reflection loss, all those losses based on these S parameters you will have to find. Only those S parameters will be available if you are designing a microwave network, right? Mostly the S parameters will be given. So based on that, you have to practically, right? This is what you should be familiar with. That's why, right? This is, say, couplers, isolators, resonators. So this coupler is actually what, a 3-port device, right? So its S matrix will be actually what, a 3x3 matrix. right? And say resonator, it's actually what, it's a two-port device, so it's S matrix will be, it will have S11, S12, S21, S22, right? So they have some meanings. That's what we are trying to perceive. What actually is the physical significance of these parameters, right? And in most of the cases in microwave, the network which you are encountering will be actually what, multi-port network. It may not be one port or two port network, it will be multi-port network, right? Minimum starting from 3 you can expect, right? So okay, yeah, yeah, that is S11. So what will be S12 now? S12 will be actually what, it will be B1 by A2 when A1 is 0. A1 is 0 means port 1 is matched. Port 1 matched. In port 1 matched condition, if port 1 is matched, right? Maybe we'll see this diagram. Then it will be easy for you to work. So when port 1 is matched, port 1, this is port 1. When port 1 is matched, if you are giving A2 at port 2, right? What will be the normalized voltage available as output in port 1, right? That is B1 by A2, ratio of output at port 1 when A2 is given in port 2, if it is perfectly matched, if the load is perfectly matched. So it is actually what, B1 by, it is B1 by A2, right? It is B1 by A2 when A1 is equal to 0. So what will be that? It is actually what, attenuation, right? It is I can write it as attenuation of wave traveling from port 2 to, right, wave traveling from port 2 to port 1, right? Attenuation of wave traveling from port 2 to port 1. So even though I have not mentioned, I am assuming it is for the time being, I am assuming it's a reciprocal network, right? In both way, it will actually behave the same in same manner, right? So I'm assuming it's a reciprocal network. So S12, that is actually what, B1 by A2 when A1 is 0, that is port 1 is matched. So it will be attenuation. So similarly, what will be S21? S21 will be B2 by A1 when A2 is 0. So when A2 is 0 means port 2 matched, right? Port 2 matched. So what will be this? B2 by A1 and port 2 matched. Port 2 matched means I have to connect Z0 at port 2, right? Here I am connecting a Z0, right? Then there won't be any reflection, right? A2 0, there won't be any reflection. Then if I am giving A1 at port 1, how much power, how much normalized voltage will be available at port 2? That is B2 by A1. So what will be that? It will be again attenuation of wave traveling from port 1 to port 2, right? So I can write here attenuation of wave traveling from port 1 to port 2, right? And what will be S22? That I want you to tell what is S22. S22 will be B2 by A2 when A1 is 0, that is port 1 matched. What will be this? Whether it is attenuation or say reflection coefficient, what is that? And what you have to keep in mind is, as the voltage and current can be complex, these S11, S12, all those things also can be complex, right? Mostly it will be complex, right? Yeah, what will be this? Whether it is attenuation or a reflection coefficient, what is that? You can type in chat window. All of you can type in chat window. Please do type in chat window. What will be that? I hope at least some are right listening. If you are listening, please do type in chat window. Right? What is that? S22. Whether it is attenuation or reflection coefficient, B2 by A2. If you are giving A2 in port 2, right? What is that you are getting as output in port 2? Right? What is that? Please do type in whether it is attenuation or reflection. Yeah, I'll wait till at least one response. Right. So before that, let me pause and ask, are you able to follow this? Are you getting something, or everything is Greek and Latin? Yes. Maybe I think I should call out a name. Sharon Frank, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Did you understand something, or maybe?
Somewhat, sir. Like not perfectly. Like I'll have to go through again.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, maybe I should not be asking question and troubling you people. It will be actually what? It will be reflection coefficient. Right? It will be reflection coefficient of port 2. Right. So this is how these are the S parameters. So B, the dependent variables are described in terms of actually what the independent variables A's. So these A's and B's are nothing but normalized voltage. When I say normalized, you are normalizing the incident voltage with root of Z0 and normalizing reflected voltage with root of Z0. And for convenience in your textbook, what they have done is just to reduce the complexity of this expression, they have assumed without loss of generality this root of Z0 to be equal to 1. Right? They have assumed root of Z0 to be equal to 1, or else actually what it is per unit, say by unit characteristic impedance, right? So maybe when I describe the properties of S matrix and all, I won't be considering that V incident by root of Z0. That root of Z0 that by default will be equal to 1. That is just for convenience. It's for our convenience, right? We don't want to complicate things. We want to make things simple. That's right. Right. So this is for a 2-port network. Similarly, I can define an N-port network. Right. Similarly, I can define an N-port network. Right. N-port network. Maybe I'll just go like this. There are N ports. This is port 1 and port 2, port 3, right, etc. up to port N. So this is port 1, 2, 3, etc. up to port N, or maybe I'll write small n for the time. Anything would be fine, right? So then, or else I'll write capital N. That would be better, right? So capital N, right? So this is an N-port network. So there again I can define A's and B. A will be A1, right? A1 will be the incident quantity, right? B1 will be the reflected quantity, and again this is A2 and B2, right? A3, B3, and so on and so forth, A and Bn, right? So what will be the S parameter description of this? So I can represent B1, B2, etc. up to actually what? Bn as S11, S12, etc. up to S1n, S21, etc. up to S2n, so on and so forth, S N1, S N2, etc. up to S Nn times A1, A2, so on and so forth, An. So this is the S parameter representation. I told it's applicable, it's universal. So I told for microwave as such, it's easy for us to define S parameter. But once we get the S parameter, of course we know the relation between A, B's and VI's, right? So using that, we can actually obtain the corresponding Z, Y, or H parameter if you want, right? But normally we won't work with that. But it's possible, right? I'm not telling it's right. But normally we won't use it. Why? Because it will simply complicate the things, right? S parameter keeps the things actually simple and neat. So that's why we'll use S parameter, right? And even for a lumped network, right? Even for a lumped network, you can actually represent it using its S parameter. So we know, right? You know, given V and I, how to map it to actually A and B. So then that's it, right? So then you have to match, right? and find the corresponding parameters. But even S parameters are not commonly used for actually what this LUM network. Right. So LUM networks, right? So depending upon the scenario, suppose you want to cascade, right? Suppose I told yesterday itself in LUM network, right? Suppose you want to cascade many like networks one after the other. So then it's always easy to actually what represent its ABCD parameter. Why? Because I can simply take the product of actually what all the ABCD parameters. It will give me the resultant ABCD parameter of the network, right? So depending upon our application, right, we can define. So we don't have to actually use S parameters in a LUM network. Right? I don't know if there are any applications, but mostly we don't have to use. And similarly, other parameters, Z and Y parameters, ZY or HABCD parameters, right here. But when you are cascading again, actually, what you can map S to ABCD, right? Then you can find the equivalent and convert it back, right? That would be a good practice. Maybe, right? We will discuss that later on, right? So this is how we'll represent S parameter for an N-port network. So similarly, right, if you want to find S11 will be nothing but what? B1 by A1 when all other ports except port 1 are matched. Right? There is no reflection from all other ports, and whatever power is entering through port 1, it is actually being delivered to the loads of all other ports. There is no reflection back. So in that case, the ratio of B1 by A1 will be actually what? S11. So that will be reflection coefficient. If it is S12, that will be actually what? B1 by A2. So what you should do is, right, you have to give input A2 at port 2 and you have to match all other ports. Then you should see how much power is received at port 1. So S21 will be what? S12 will be attenuation for a wave which is traveling from port 2 to port 1. So you can extend, like even though I have discussed the S parameter for a 2-port network, you can easily extend it to what? N-port network. It's not a big deal. Right? You can easily extend that. So all the diagonal elements you can see, like all the diagonal elements will be actually what? Reflection coefficients of that respective port. So S12 will be actually what? Attenuation for a wave traveling from 2 to 1. Right? S21 will be attenuation for a wave traveling from 1 to 2, so on and so forth. So in general, Sij for I not equal to j, right? It will be attenuation for wave traveling from j to I, right? Attenuation for wave traveling from j to I, and all SIIs or SJJs will be actually what? Reflection coefficients of that particular ports. That is S parameter representation. Now, next what we should do is we need to express different types of losses like insertion loss, transmission loss, reflection loss, return loss in terms of S parameter. That we'll do in next class. Right? Maybe we'll do that in next class. Then we have to study the properties of S parameter. With that, this S parameter part will be done. And also additionally, what will happen to S parameter if you are cascading two networks which are not matched with each. Suppose there is a network, suppose there are two transmission lines, one transmission line with characteristic impedance Z0, and you are connecting it with another transmission line with some other characteristic impedance Z0 dash. If it is not matched, how to find the collective S parameter equivalent, description. That will be another topic. That's an interesting topic. So we will see all those things. Hardly two more class I may take. So with that, this S parameter part will be done, right? And after that, what we have is we have different passive networks. So for that, I don't think I have to teach that to you, right? I'll give you the material. If you read that, you will understand what is an attenuator, right? What is a phase shifter, and different types of connectors, right? I'll give you material. You can read that. That will be a self-study topic for module 3. It's very easy, right? Nothing. I don't have to explain anything at all. Right, it's very superficial. You don't have to do detailed analysis and all. It's just construction and working. You should be able to learn it on your own. Right. Of course, I'll just give you a big picture. What are the components, where it is used, applications, and all those things. And I even may actually get some components from lab, and I'll show you. Right. That part I can do. But apart from that, I don't think I have to discuss that. It's doesn't even require a description. So it's a self-study topic, right? Okay, we'll wind up today. If you have any doubt, you can feel free to ask, right, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Right. Thank you so much for patient listening. If you have listened, right? Yeah, then you can leave. Thank you. So please keep